of competition. There we are, high and dry as we look down on center court, our semifinal. We will join in just a moment. Hi again, everybody. Paul Sunderland back with you, joined once again by Tim Hovland. They say that things happen in threes, and it seems that way, at least in the world of beach volleyball recently. For the third week in a row, Kent Steffes and Jose Loyola will not win a championship. That's news. They finished ninth. We'll tell you about it a little later on. But also for the third week in a row, Adam Johnson and Karch Kurai, winners of 2 in a row, will play for their third in a row. What's going on with these guys?
They're playing great side-out volleyball, and Karch Kurai is really dominating the net. Plus, with Adam Johnson's potent jump serve, they're getting their opponents in deep difficulty on the pass. Watch Karch now, penetrating the net, controlling the net, and playing with a lot of emotion.
Last week with a victory in Sacramento, indeed, a lot of emotion from Karch Kurai as he was able to beat, for the first time since they met initially, Kent Steffes and Jose Loyola. You see, they won a Grand Slam. That was big for Kurai and Johnson. They continue to play well, but the big win was last week against Kent Steffes and Jose Loyola in Sacramento. Now, also some more big news. I know the water here in Colorado is very, very famous, but one of the most promising young teams in the world of beach volleyball, Canyon Ceman and Dain Blainton, are no more. They have broken up. What's the story behind that?
Well, they were going up and down. They get a 17th, then they get a 3rd. You know, they're coming, they just didn't gel together, on and off the court. And Canyon Ceman wasn't pleased with how Dain Blainton was treating him. So what happened, Whitmarsh asks him to play, and Canyon runs away. Kind of a strange thing. I mean, they won their Grand Slam leaders, 20.5. I mean, they played almost in every tournament together. Biggest win in Hermosa Beach. Kind of a strange thing.
It is strange, and Canyon Ceman, who has partnered this week, and he says for the rest of the season, with Mike Whitmarsh. What about that tandem? They're in our semifinal, obviously playing well.
They're playing real well. Canyon Ceman's got one of the strongest arms on tour. He can really pound the jump serve. And with Mike Whitmarsh, the biggest block on tour, that's a great combination. And they're siding out well. These guys are a great combination. We'll see what they do this weekend.
We'll see, of course, what happens to Mike Dodd. He's got an injured hand, did not play last week, did not play this week because of injury. We've got a pretty good semifinal going on that we're going to join in just a moment, because Eric Fonoimoana and Canyon Ceman's former partner, Dain Blainton, are squaring off for the second time this week. And for more from courtside on what's been going on this weekend in Vail, Colorado, let's send it down to Craig Hummer. Craig?
Thanks a lot, Paul. Well, you wouldn't know it right now. It's sunny as can be, but earlier we had a ton of rain, and we know what happens when it rains. We get a hard pack, fast track court, and it's a jump server's beach. We've seen all that before, but what we've never seen before is a volleyball tournament held at this high of an altitude. We're at over 8,500 feet, and the players I've spoken with have said that it hasn't affected them that much. We'll have to see whether fatigue, though, becomes a factor as the games go on.
Craig, thank you very much. There you see some of the beauty that can be the Colorado Rockies when the sun shines, winter, summer, spring, or fall. Our semifinal matchup, Canyon Ceman with his new partner, but certainly nobody new to the world of beach volleyball, Mike Whitmarsh, taking on Dain Blainton and his new partner, Eric Fonoimoana. Of course, last week, Eric Fonoimoana finished 3rd with Dave Swadek, and he had to change this week when given the opportunity to play with Dain Blainton. And a very, very interesting matchup indeed. Mike Whitmarsh, one of the biggest and baddest guys in the world of beach volleyball, also one of the nicest people you ever want to meet. That ball dug out of bounds by Canyon Ceman. 16 career wins, 2 this season. Eric Fonoimoana from Hermosa Beach, 1 win to his credit a couple of seasons ago with Scott Akatubby. That was in Baltimore. There you get a look at Dain Blainton. Played every tournament so far this year, 16 in all. Missed 1 because of injury with Canyon Ceman. Missed a tournament with an ankle problem. Right now, 8-6, Blainton and Fonoimoana with the lead. Good hustle by Eric Fonoimoana. We talked about the team of Ceman and Whitmarsh. What about Dain Blainton and Eric Fonoimoana, Tim?
They've been really siding out well. They're passing the ball. They both move their feet, pass the ball, and they can hit from off the net. Plus, the ground it's been raining up here. The ground is really hard, so this is a hitter's beach.
And there are some big hitters, and obviously not very friendly feelings, at least this week, as that ball is tapped out of bounds, unforced error by Dain Blainton. So Blainton and Fonoimoana were in control early. They led 5-2, 6-3, and 7-3, but now Whitmarsh and his partner Canyon Ceman have come back and now trail by only 1. The AVP Open at Vail is brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time.
I want to thank our friends at Wilson for their support of this week.
By Honda, experience the thrill of the all-new Prelude and the new four-wheel drive CRV. And by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP.
Will be our Cuervo Beach City Challenge qualifier.
Rain all day yesterday and most of the morning, but has been shining brightly in what has turned out to be a very, very competitive semifinal. Ceman and Whitmarsh, yes, a new team seated number 4 against Blainton and Fonoimoana. Yes, another new team seated number 5.
It's not your TV screwing up there. Just a different, nice block by Whitmarsh.
And Fonoimoana with the kill down the line. We've talked so much about Whitmarsh, Ceman, and Dain Blainton because of all the changes. But what about Eric Fonoimoana the last couple of weeks?
He's been playing great. I mean, he had a breakup with Brian Ivy. Brian Ivy was just not coming along like he planned on it. They're getting 9s, 13s, etc. And right now, Fonoi's playing a great game. It was a tough thing to do. They've been childhood friends. But he got third last week with Swadek and Dain Blainton right now in the semifinals. His game is he can win it open. I think Ivy needs a little more time. That's a tough thing for him to do.
Mike Whitmarsh has turned this game around. They were down early with his blocking. They were down 6-3 and 7-3 at the side, changed 2 stuff blocks in a row, and Whitmarsh has really put his stamp on this match.
Especially on the surface, Whitmarsh can get his armpits up and over the net. He knows how to get over the net and really penetrate. When he blocks the ball, it's coming back harder than you hit it.
Mike Whitmarsh leading the Miller Lite AVP Tour in blocking by a significant number. He's number 1 with a total of 208. Rob Hyger is second with 111, so he has nearly doubled it up on his nearest competitor. The most dominant and controlling factor, at least in terms of blocking, on the Miller Lite AVP Tour.
And Hyder missed what 5 tournaments?
He's a good blocker as well.
He's a very good blocker.
Come on! Gotta get up, gotta get up!
That ball ripped by Canyon Ceman off the right hand of his former partner, and we are tied at 8. Long comeback and very successful one by Whitmarsh and Ceman.
Even though Whitmarsh didn't block the ball, he intimidated Fonoimoana enough to make that shot. That's just as good as a block.
A lot of siding out through the middle of this match, so the Swatch game clock is run down quite a bit. We're down already in our semifinal to 1 minute 16.4 seconds left, so very, very doubtful unless someone gets a very hot hand serving that this will go all the way to 15.
Fonoi says, I'm not going to shoot this ball, I'm going to pound it straight down. As you can see, what a jumper's beach.
But Fonoy does have heat, and he's playing his best volleyball of the season at this particular time, and wanted to play at the World Championships coming up in September, so that he and his partner Brian Ivy would not qualify if they had stayed together. He needed to get somebody with a few more points, and Dain Blainton, when he was available, certainly did it. Swatch timeout on center court. It was going to be the sand variety. We'll take a full timeout. Tied at 8. Good semifinal for you here in Vail.
Fox Sports Northwest brings you wire-to-wire thoroughbred excitement all season long on
Major League heat in that arm. He doesn't jump that high, but he really smacks the ball.
I think that Whitmarsh and Ceman might be able to apply a little more pressure. Ceman's jump serving Whitmarsh's ability to block. Nice side out by Dain Blainton. We should point out that Dain Blanton's moved over and playing the right side after playing the left side all season long. How about that transition?
Very surprising. He's moved. I mean, his right side play is great. He's been siding out all weekend long. They've been serving him. I would be going to Fonoimoana just because Fonoi sets a little bit better than Dain, and I'd rather dig Fonoi.
Ceman showing you some of that heat. Canyon Ceman, one of the many players on tour, among them Karch Kirai and others, Bill Bullion, who've had major shoulder surgery, but he has bounced back. Not a great leaper, but certainly hits a heavy ball. Tied at 8, just over 1 minute left on our Swatch game clock. Semifinals, Paul Sunderland, joined by Tim Hovland here in Vail, Colorado. That ball just under Mike Whitmarsh. Does Mike sometimes get too high?
No doubt. Fonoi's going right for Mike Whitmarsh's head. He's a little bit off the net, right through his block. That's a field goal. Should be 3 points. Fonoi got away with one.
If for a player who never got all those repetitions indoors blocking, Mike Whitmarsh technically, most of the time, that was not a good example, but most of the time he's pretty good, isn't he?
What happened? Mike Dodd picked him up. When he picked him up, they started to pitch, get over the net. Don't go so high. Get your hands over the net, and you start blocking balls, and he really turned it around. Before, we just use him out of bounds. Now he's getting open and just blocking everybody.
Hey, Willie!
Chance for Ceman, well off the net. Good cut shot. Is that ball called up?
Oh, that's down ball.
Yeah, good call by B. Lee. That was a pretty heavily hit sand wedge.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit too much sand in that one, and I think a good call. And Whitmarsh and Ceman take their first lead of the match at 9-8.
That's definitely a Ryan Sandberg. Nice cut shot. Coming up here. Can't get to it.
Mike Whitmarsh, a lot of experience playing in close matches. Played with Mike Dodd for a long time, won some big tournaments. Ball set pretty far back. Ceman with another dig. Oh, Ceman thundering. One-legged takeoff, and it's 10-8. And very importantly, on our Swatch game clock, 35.8 seconds remaining.
Fonoy needs a timeout right here. They cannot afford to give up another point. Now, this game is over. They can come back, get within one. Remember, they go into overtime.
Mike Whitmarsh doing a little house cleaning here, allowing Dain Blanton and Eric Fonoimoana to gather their thoughts. But I think that's just a sign of confidence for Whitmarsh right now. He doesn't care.
I think he's a little, actually just wants to gather himself to get up and get over and block this ball. And
we should,
none of that right there with Dain Blanton down hard.
We should remind people, we know it's been talked about, we're playing at just over 8,000 feet, the highest altitude of any beach volleyball competition in history. Takes a little bit off the jump serving, but for the most part, I think the players have adjusted well.
Yeah, long rallies, they get a little tired, but other than that, they're in great shape.
Nice dig by Fonoy to get within one.
Dain's got to go for it.
Down to 20 seconds. Good cut shot by Fonoimoana.
Watch this gator dig by Fonoy. Blanton going for it. Can't happen. Watch this set right on the net. Little cut shot. 9-10.
Set this up for you. Blainton and Fonoimoana down one with 14.2 seconds left. Lots of time. Going to Whitmarsh. Tight set. Fonoy's there.
Blanton's got to set a little bit closer.
Remember, you have to win by 2. Fonoimoana digging balls like crazy. So time has expired. We are headed into an overtime session here in our semifinal. Mike Whitmarsh and Canyon Ceman were down throughout the course of the early going of this semi, trailed by as much as 7-3, came back to take their first lead at 9-8. Led at 10-8, but Eric Fonoimoana got them within one. And this year on the Miller Lite AVP Tour, you have to win by 2, so we will head for overtime.
Full timeout. Full timeout by Blainton.
Boy, we told you we thought Colorado, and when you come up, just go on up and knock on Tim Hovland's front door. His winter cottage here is Ski Lodge, and you can enjoy yourself.
So Oakley Safe House right there.
Here we go.
Mike Whitmarsh and Canyon Ceman serving for the match, a chance to get to the finals. And Dain Blanton, a very important side out with a crush cross court.
Nice, deep middle shot. And then he kind of stared at Whitmarsh, kind of taunting him.
Well, what about the feelings right now?
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
get to that after this point between Dain Blanton and Canyon Ceman. This is a team that people thought would be together forever. That ball served into the net. How did that go, and how do they feel about each other now?
This is bragging rights right now. You know, you lose to him the first time out, you remember that for the rest of your life. It's a crucial moment right here, and Dain Blanton needs to side out. Canyon Ceman will be going for it.
And will he serve his former partner? Match point number 2. And nice kill once again by Dain Blanton. Blanton has still got a heavily taped right ankle. He tore some ligaments in his ankle a couple of weeks ago, missed a tournament. He seems to have recovered very nicely. Certainly one of the most explosive hitters on the beach, and his all-around game is really starting to come together.
When the ball's set in the net, he goes over Whitmarsh. That was a great hit.
Well, Fonoy has been in the right place, but that's just too much heat from Canyon Ceman.
That was almost out of the yard. Great hard cross-court shot by Ceman. Nobody's going to handle that.
Match point number 3, Mike Whitmarsh and Canyon Ceman, the number 4 seeds. And waiting in the wings, of course, Karch Kurai and Adam Johnson looking to make it 3 in a row.
Oh.
First swing for the match. again. Swing and opportunity, number one, although a very difficult setting chance for Mike Whitmarsh. That ball very, very high into what is now a brilliant bright sky over center court. Tough setting chance.
That was a tough set. What made that play was Fonoy backing up on that and putting the ball right on the net for Dain to put that ball away. Great set by Fonoy.
Dain Blanton now to return the favor, trying to tie it at 10. Blocked by Fonoimoana. An unlikely matchup. Mike Whitmarsh at 6'7", being blocked by Eric Fonoimoana at about 6'3". But tied. Fonoimoana with a couple of digs. They got back within one, and in overtime, it's 10 apiece.
Dr. Scholl's Odor Destroyers, with 50% more odor-destroying power than Odor Eater's foot powder. So try Dr. Scholl's.
Beautiful mountain sky, and they want to know a lot about the players. And if you want all the inside right for the AVP Tour Guide, send check for $7 payable to the AVP. And the AVP Tour Guide, 330 Washington Boulevard, Suite 600, Marina Del Rey, California, 90292. And please include return shipping information. And that tour guide is just super. Lots of pictures, interesting articles, biographical backgrounds, who's been winning in years past, and who may win here today in Vail. The first tournament ever in Vail, Colorado, tied at 10.
Oh.
Opportunity for both teams there.
That was great play by Whitmarsh not to give up on that ball.
That ball sitting 50-50, almost got detonated on his head.
Watch that, penetrate, gets his arm on it. Fonoy's not ready, brings it back over. Goodbye, see you later. Canyon puts the ball away.
Still tied at 10. The clock is off, we're in overtime.
Still tight.
That ball ripped off of Mike Whitmarsh.
That mistake, he went a little bit too high right there. Whitmarsh, that ball was close to the net. He should be penetrating, getting that ball over. Didn't happen.
Now, who do Fonoimoana and Blanton serve here? They scored a point recently off of Whitmarsh to get to 10-all.
Go back to Whitmarsh, take that high middle ball. He likes to go high middle in the tight situations. Oh boy.
Hey, Fonoimoana, in my eyes, has been the best player on the court.
No doubt.
He's digging balls. A couple of key digs to get back within one, and then this one to get the lead.
Watch the control in this dig. Right to Blanton. Puts him 50-50. See ya later.
Match point number one for Fonoimoana and Blanton. And that ball blocked out of bounds.
Why go to Canyon after you get a point, 2 points off Whitmarsh? Right there, you got to keep the ball on Whitty, make it put the ball away, have him come out of his funk. Instead, go to Canyon, nice side out.
Now it's Whitmarsh and Ceman who are trying to tie. They're down one. That ball cut out of bounds from the right side. Remember, Dain Blanton's been playing on the left for months with Canyon Ceman. That ball hit straight out of bounds. Tied now at 11-all.
That wouldn't have been in on a basketball court. That was out by 6 feet.
Well, they've been talking about widening the court. Not the volleyball court, the basketball
football
court.
field. That's the shot right down there. Up and over the top, down the middle. Don't go for the hard angles. Because if you go for the hard angles and miss, easy point, or Whitmarsh will block you straight down.
Well, it's been a very, very good semifinal with all the intrigue of Canyon Ceman dropping Dain Blanton. Chemistry just wasn't there. A couple of 17ths and a third thrown in the last couple of weeks, and now they meet not once, but they met also earlier in the tournament. Big serve from Dain Blanton. They take the 12-11 lead.
Big, strong serve by Dain Blanton at a key moment. Goes to 12-11. Second ace of the game.
Dain Blanton and Eric Fonoimoana will be serving their second match point. Good pass. Oh! At match point, Canyon Ceman dribbled the ball down into the bottom of the net, and that is it.
That was a gap in the bottom of the net. Barely hit the net.
Dain Blanton and Eric Fonoimoana, their first tournament together. have advanced to the finals, and they will meet Karch Kirai and Adam Johnson. Our competitors today, Ian Clark, who's had a good tournament playing with Canyon Ceman earlier in the season. Brooke Vanderway trying to work his way back into the elite group of players on tour, along with Chris Young and Andrew Smith. Andrew Smith and Mark Kieran's playing so well in Miami earlier in the year. You see the clouds in the background, and we certainly hope that they hold off until our final has been completed. That's going to be coming up in about 15 minutes or so. This is the Cuervo City Beach Challenge. More volleyball. Of course, with double elimination, you have to take that long break in between the semifinals and finals, and these players come out, and 15 minutes of game time for the fans here in Vail, playing for some additional prize money. There you get a good look at Ian Clark.
He's really put on some weight. His upper body, last 2 years, he must have been working a lot in the gym. Must have put on 30 pounds.
Played at Pepperdine, from this area, from Colorado, and probably has a lot of fans here. Comes from Boulder, where, of course, we played for years and years and years, and come up into the mountains here at Vail, a site that will certainly become one of the favorites of the players. A little bit unlucky with the weather this weekend, but for the most part, a marvelous experience. Karch Kirai and his wife brought their children up and spent a couple of days, and Adam Johnson, his wife and child, came as well. Some additional volleyball.
Chris Wilson, tip of the week is with Mike Whitmarsh. He's going to tell you when to hit him and when to shoot him.
Knowing when to spike and when to shoot is a very important part of the AVP tour. If you want to be successful, you got to try to mix them up. If I see young guys coming out and they're just banging balls all the time, it makes it easy to defend them. Knowing when to hit a shot and when to spike is the key to the game. If you get a bad set like that, about 8 feet off the net, go up, look, try to hit the little cut shot. Or if you get the good set right on the net, don't be afraid to go up and just blast it. You get the power from the arm, but don't be afraid to use your head out here.